Now, for more on this story, we bring in France 24 international affairs commentator Armen Georgian. Now, Armen, as we just heard in that report, violence has surged in Afghanistan in recent weeks. What does this suggest about the Taliban's objectives right now?
Well, if you look at the last 2 weeks of April, hundreds of people being killed in violence in Afghanistan, it's obvious that the Taliban's spring offensive is now fully underway. This is precisely what the US, China, Russia and Pakistan urged the Taliban not to do. They said, please don't carry out a spring offensive, but essentially the Taliban simply went along with international negotiations, all the while making the military preparations for what we're seeing now. And actually there were signs of those preparations over the winter months already. It's not surprising really that this annual spring offensive is more intense than those of previous years, because the Taliban see an opening now. They have a firm date by which all foreign troops will have left the country. It's not the date that the Taliban wanted, but it is still a date, the 11th of September of this year. And so obviously it's in the Taliban's interests to now make as many gains on the ground as they can and use that as political leverage after September.
Yes, as you just mentioned, it's not just U.S. troops that are withdrawing. Tell us more about the other forces that will be pulling out of the country.
Yeah, it's important to bear in mind there are nearly 3 times as many coalition forces as there are US troops in Afghanistan, around 7,000 NATO forces. They will be leaving along with US forces by September the 11th, and that raises huge questions for the Afghan army and police, because at the moment those foreign forces are that they train the Afghan police and the Afghan army, they replenish their equipment, they show how to use the more advanced equipment that comes on stream. And what happens when all those forces leave? That presumably there won't be a training program anymore, or any way to mend equipment, which is crucial, unless, of course, there's some kind of civilian contractor presence in the country after the actual soldiers have left. That would require a lot of civilian contractors. They could, in theory, maintain weapons, look after supply chains and so forth, but politically, would that work? Would the Taliban accept a foreign contractor presence, or would they see those contractors as essentially foreign invaders, the way that they see the current men in uniform in Afghanistan? So that's a big question, as is the question of financial assistance to the Afghan security forces. What kind of level will it be at, and will it be enough if, as I said, there's no real training program anymore, or help to update weapons and so forth? So there are huge questions for the Afghan security forces going forward in terms of this foreign support, and we don't really have the answers yet, because politically we don't know exactly what Afghanistan is going to look like after these foreign troops have left on September the 11th of this year.
Armen Georgian with that analysis, France 24's international affairs editor. Thanks for that update.